Hey, everyone. Welcome to this 5th edition of diving into all the goodness that Repurpose offers you. I'm Yang Pratt, the host of the In a Weekend podcast, and I'm thrilled, as always, to be here with the man himself, Mr. Hanny Mora. Hanny, so excited to be here today.
I'm so excited too. It's August 1st. Summer's in full effect. Podcast movement's coming out. A lot of exciting things happening in August. And I'm thrilled to be here and thrilled to be here with you and talking about what's going on and what's going down in Repurpose.
Yes, and I love that people are really starting to respond to these live interviews and asking questions and really wanting to dive deeper, because when we started talking about all the things your software could do that I didn't know it could do, I was just flabbergasted, thinking everyone needs to know this. So I'm so glad that you invited me to come on here and ask these questions and help other users to really get to know your software and to help them use it to its fullest capacity.
I appreciate it. And thank you for kind of pushing me and forcing me to get this done, because I think it adds a ton of value to the users and also tons of value to us as a team, because we get to learn what people are using, what people are not using, and how to make things better.
Absolutely. Before we dive into the questions, if you do have questions during the broadcast, go ahead and just pop them below. Let us know, and we will get them answered on this interview today. So Hanny, let's start with the first question that we got right below this video, and it comes from Jennifer.
Awesome.
And she wants to know about how to connect IGTV, how it worked with Repurpose, aspect ratios, all those details.
Awesome. So this is kind of a deep question, and I will dive into it a little bit later. I want to actually demo it as well. But the basic idea is this: we have the ability to make 3 different types of videos. So if you're a podcaster, you can create videos that are horizontal, square, vertical. And the way I look at it, I have a graphic I can send out to people who are interested. But basically, I look at Facebook and YouTube as the horizontal. I consider square to be optimal for Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram. And third is the vertical, which are perfect, in my opinion, for IGTV and Instagram stories / Facebook stories. Just before we continue, I think Nancy's got a good point. Yang, there seems to be an echo. Do you have headphones by any chance? I'm not sure if it's you or me, but there seems to be an echo going on.
Yeah, let me see. Let me grab some headphones real quick. They are actually...
Okay, yeah. Now it's gone. So
we'll just
keep going.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe it's not you. Maybe not. It's all good. Okay. So yeah, Jennifer, that's a great question. So those are the 3 formats. I'll share them a little bit later on how to do it. But I'm going to demo it in the software, how you can configure those 3 options. But I want to just keep in mind, you can do this if you start with a podcast. So if you have an audio and you're converting it to a video, you can choose those 3 formats. And then 2, it can be if you start with a video. So if, like, you have a live video or any video on Facebook, we can also resize it to square or vertical as well. So doesn't matter what kind of content you're starting with. We have the options to convert content or create videos in those 3 styles. So let's see. Let me just quickly go into that right now, since we have Jennifer here and I see her commenting. So I'm going to share a quick screenshot, a quick image real quick of kind of what you can do with Repurpose in terms of sizing, and then actually demo kind of how to do that inside the software, because Jennifer's awesome and she's here live with us. So, okay, share screen. And all right, so that's all good. Don't mind that craziness there. Just bear with me for a second. Okay.
While you're pulling this up, I just want to say hello to Jennifer and to Connie and to Nancy. Thank you all so much for being here live. We look forward to getting all your questions answered.
Awesome. So this is the image. I'm gonna share this out after. I'll put a link, or I'll make this available to everybody. But basically, let me know if you can see this clearly or not. But this is an image that I'm trying to capture what you can do with Repurpose. So if you start off with a podcast, like I mentioned earlier, you can convert create a horizontal video, which is ideal for YouTube and Facebook, and we can publish directly to YouTube to Facebook. We can make a vertical video, whether it's full length or a clip. I mean, like a short clip or a full episode, we can do either. And we cannot send it to Instagram or Instagram TV, but we can send it to your Dropbox or to your Google Drive. And then from there, you can grab it and use it as a story, or use it as, or upload it to IGTV through your browser. So that's cool. And then we can do a Square version as well, where we can send directly to Twitter, and we can send it to either Dropbox or Google Drive, where you can use it for your Instagram feed or your LinkedIn. So quick recap, Square is ideal, for, in my opinion, for Twitter and LinkedIn, vertical, IGTV and IG stories, and horizontal for YouTube and Facebook. So I'll share this image, kind of help you guys just kind of memorize, not memorize, but just get a feel, visually get a feel for what you can do. And if you're doing videos as a starting point, it's very similar. Mm-hmm. You can do, where's my other image here? Yeah, so if you're doing any kind of video, you can do very similar stuff, which is part of the training I'm going to do today, how to take videos and convert them into these styles. So whether it's a live video or an uploaded video on Facebook, you can take that video, go horizontal to YouTube to Facebook. You can go vertical. We automatically convert it to a vertical. We can add a nice headline and even add the captions as well, if you have those captions on Facebook, and send that to your Dropbox or Google Drive. Again, so you can upload them to IGTV and Instagram stories. And we can also do a Square version as well. And we send that to your either Dropbox, Google Drive, or directly to Twitter. But once it's on your Google Drive, you can take that and you use it in your Instagram feed or your LinkedIn. So Square, I find looks best on LinkedIn, in my opinion. All right, so I'll make these two graphics available. I'll post a link in the comments. It's probably the easiest way is anybody who's watching the replay or watching it live can just grab the link. So I'll share them after we're done. Awesome. So how do we make this happen? So inside of Repurpose, I'm assuming that you've already added some connections. So let's take the podcast example. Say you're doing a podcast and you want to convert it into, let's say, a vertical video. You want to put a clip on, let's say, IGTV. So as you have to make sure you have your podcast connection already added, and because we can't publish directly to IGTV, we want to have at least a Google Drive or a Dropbox already hooked up to your connections. So I've already done that, so I'm not going to do that again. And then, so when you make the workflow, I'm just going to delete this workflow here. So when you make a workflow, I'm just going to give it any name. I'm just going to assume that we're doing a podcast to vertical IGTV. This can be any name you want. So I'm going to choose my audio podcast. And here you have two options. You can do full episode, meaning like, it means full episode, the entire episode. If you, just one tip though, IGTV for most people is limited to 10 minutes. So if your audio podcast is more than 10 minutes, then you want to change this into snippets. And then you can kind of choose, we have a visual editor. I'll show you how that works. So you can choose a clip and do that. So for this demo, I'm going to pick snippets and I'm going to send it to my Dropbox. You can choose a folder, and then I'm going to say just my main folder is fine for now. Say create. All right. So before I publish anything, I'm going to go on my settings. So here's where you have the opportunity to change templates. So when you're converting an audio to a video, it's all template based. We have 6 templates here. And just as a recap, well, we have a horizontal, vertical, square. So we're going to do vertical. So if you actually click on a preview, it'll show you kind of what it looks like. So we have the option to put some text on top, like a headline or a quote from your guest, for example. You can do that when you click publish. And you can have some kind of like either call to action or maybe the episode title on the bottom. And then we add the image from your podcast feed. And then we add a waveform, which actually we recently added a progress bar as well. So you can see it, a little progress bar go across the waveform so you can see how long the episode is, which is really, really cool. So you can pick one of our templates or upload your own. They're very straightforward. If you click on this link down here, we have template specs that walk you through how to design it, but it's honestly very straightforward. It's literally a background image, whatever you like. So I'm going to pick this one just for the demo. If you don't want the progress bar, you can turn it off. You can change the color of the waveform if you want, like, to match your brand. Let's say you have this kind of like waveform color. So you can, tweak some things to match your brand, upload your own template or choose one of ours and say save. And just like we do before, we go view episodes and see what you'll notice, because I picked snippets, you'll see scissors icon instead of the publish button. So for this, if I click on this, it's going to pop up a little window. It's going to load my audio in here. It might take a few seconds depending how long your audio is. And you can basically drag this slider around, and it's a little bit, you got to be a little bit, yeah, there we go. You got to be a little bit careful with the mouse. So you can drag the duration, how long the clip that you want. And let's say it's a minute long. And you can even like preview the snippet to make sure it's the right spot. And once you're happy with it, you give it a little title. So this is the title of the snippet. Like typically we tell people to put a quote. Like if you're taking a quote from a guest, then put a quote up here. Like put what they say. Like, I don't know, this just came up, so we'll just use this. So, and then it's going to go ahead and create the snippet. And the cool thing is you can make as many snippets as you want. So you can take a single episode and make, 5, 10, 20 snippets for that particular episode. So there's no limit on the number of snippets per episode. And then you just hit publish, just like we do. It gives you a chance to tweak the title if you don't like it. And by default, it puts the title of the episode down here. But if you want to put a call to action, you can, you can say listen on iTunes, on Apple Podcasts, or subscribe, whatever you want. Any kind of call to action you want to show up below, it'll show up on the bottom of, I can't spell subscribe. Thank God for spell checker. Okay, and then I hit publish, and we're good to go. So there's some advanced stuff. I don't want to cover too much to overwhelm you, but if you do have some kind of timestamps in your feed, Repurpose will pick it up automatically and kind of prepare the snippets for you. So just keep that in mind, play with that. I don't want to cover that in this tutorial because I don't want to overwhelm people, because most people don't do the timestamps, but it's a little bonus feature we have. So it's a 1-minute clip. Let's see how long it's going to take. Anyway, I'll leave it going and we'll come back to it in a minute. But the idea is the goal, the final product, not the goal, the final product will look like this, just in case we don't get to it. I'll try to zoom in a little bit on this image here. So I will have the text, the quote that we had, your waveform with the progress bar going through it, the image that's already currently in your podcast feed, which is either your guest or your iTunes artwork, and then the call to action below. So that's what the final product looks like. If it takes longer if it's not ready, we'll come back to it in the end and show you what it looks like. So that's how you do it with audio podcasts and converting them. You can do the same thing for Square by picking a Square template.
So you just need a different workflow for each of these different templates, correct?
You nailed it. Yeah, you nailed it. Yeah. So we made a workflow that I called vertical. I'll make another one for all my Square videos, and I can send them to a different Dropbox folder. You can really customize the way you want, depending on who in your team or how you want to organize your content on Dropbox or Google Drive.
So amazing. I know Jennifer's excited that you have all these cool tools. She was looking for this in a way to create these little snips and videos. So that's very cool. She thinks you've been eavesdropping on her thoughts because this is what she wanted. So Jennifer, there you have it.
Awesome. Love it. I love it. I'm going to turn the screen sharing off. So good. So I hope that answered your question. You can do something very similar with videos as well. So you can if you make a video workflow, starting with a Facebook video, you can go to Dropbox, very similar. You can choose Square, vertical, etc., and turn on the captions. So awesome. All right. Thanks, Jennifer, for the great question.
Awesome. So Nancy has a question about the podcast as WordPress posts. And I know it's something a little bit different. Do you want to address that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So we have, so the Repurpose platform is the online software that I just demoed now. We have WordPress plugins that they're sold separately, but they work kind of, they integrate with the whole repurposing idea. So yeah, so the question, Nancy's question is, any chance we can go back and catch up podcasts as WordPress posts? So we have a plugin that takes all your podcasts and makes blog posts out of it. And yes, so you can choose basically inside your settings of the WordPress plugin. It's called a Simple Podcast Press for anyone who is interested in it. You can select all the episodes. You can select to just pick ones after a certain date. So yeah. So the WordPress plugin is actually not integrated into the Repurpose. So Repurpose, at some point, we're going to bring them all together. But at this point, think of Repurpose.io as a platform for publishing across platforms, from like YouTube, from podcast to YouTube, Facebook to YouTube, Facebook to Twitter, etc. And then anything that's WordPress related, it's a separate plugin, separate tool that has its own settings that gets installed on your own site. Yeah, Simple Podcast Press. Yeah, so with the plugin or Repurpose, actually, you can choose all your episodes to publish once within after a certain date, or you can just hand choose the ones that you want. Awesome.
Yeah, Nancy,
Great
it's a really
Nancy.
cool tool. I use it and it's awesome because if I go in there, put my episode up and put in even those little timestamps, all that comes over to your WordPress site, and it's super clean, super easy. The player looks amazing on a page. So once you have it installed, it's kind of like Repurpose. You can really just go in there, set it up once, and it keeps working all the time. So definitely, I highly recommend it. I use that one, plus the other one that Hanny has, Simple Social Press, which takes all the Facebook Live videos and embeds them as blog posts on your website as well.
Yeah, awesome. Great question. Awesome. Love
Thanks,
it, Connie.
Connie.
Thank you for being here. Thank you.
Okay, Victor has a question here. What's the highest resolution that gets uploaded to YouTube from Facebook?
Oh, that's from YouTube. Oh, sorry, from
YouTube,
Facebook.
from
YouTube.
Facebook, sorry.
Gotcha. Okay, that's a great question. So, Facebook, as people may have noticed, if you go to download your own Facebook video off of Facebook, like just go into your page and download it, they say HD, but they don't really give you an HD version. So let's say you're doing a 1280 by 720, like we're doing a 720p broadcast right now. If I go log into Facebook itself and I download it, it doesn't download, even though they call it HD, it's not the full HD. So you can do that. What we can do is we found a way to kind of work around this and try to get the highest quality available. Well, we noticed a couple of things. If you're doing it from a private group, we're not able to use this trick that we have. The short answer is we download. I think the highest we've seen is the 1280 by 720.
Nice.
So if you're doing it from a public page, public group, maybe, I don't think personal profile. It's a page or a public group. We found a little funny way of a cool little trick that we can get the higher quality version for you and download. If you're doing it from a private group, we take what Facebook gives us, which is, I think, usually half of the 720. So whatever that is.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the answer. We always try to get the highest. If we can't get the highest, then we grab the next available option.
Cool. Welcome, Taverly.
Yeah, welcome.
We're excited. You're excited to learn, because this is why we do these live broadcasts, is to answer questions, to get you really oriented to how the software works and all the different benefits it has as a content marketer. Yeah,
I'm going to mention one thing that we've been working on. It's available now, but we're going to keep adding to it. It's a whole library of videos if you go to repurpose.io/support, and we have almost like a knowledge base there. You can search for certain things, or you can see the different types of videos. Even all these live trainings will automatically get pushed to that support section. So it's repurpose.io. I can drop that in the comments, or actually, if you don't mind, Young, dropping that in the comments. And so anytime you're stuck or you have a question, we do have a lot of videos, and we're making a lot more. And they're all short, 2 to 3 minutes, just to cover one topic. Like, how do I get my Facebook to YouTube? It's a 1 or 2 minute video on how to do that. How do I get transcriptions? How do I do this? And so, we're trying to work on that, build that library up. And then we're also starting to put these live trainings as well on there. Awesome.
Yeah, awesome. All right. Michelle wants to know about an affiliate program.
Yeah, actually we do. We have an affiliate program. Anybody who is signed up for Repurpose, if you go, I'm not sharing my screen, but if you go to the top right, I'll share my screen for a second. Share screen. So if you go top right, once you log in, you go on the top right, there's a affiliate area here. You click on that. Just need to make sure you enter your PayPal address. We pay everything through PayPal. And then you have your special link there as well. So once you do that, I'm pretty sure it's 25% recurring is what we pay out for any referrals. And so we appreciate it. As a user, you're already signed up. Just add your email address, your PayPal account, and you get your special link, and share it around. We really appreciate that.
Super easy. Yeah, let's see. We have some other questions that came in via email as well. So let's dive into some of those. This one is from Ryan. I purchased for purposes of posting my podcast. I'm not sure I fully have a grip on how it should work.
Yeah. So this was kind of a high level question, and obviously we can't dive into all the details. And I think Taverly as well has also mentioned the comment that she's interested in taking a podcast to YouTube. So maybe what I'll do is I'm going to pull up that diagram again. Let me share my screen again. Kind of talk what the idea is, and I'll do a quick video, a quick training on how to set up the podcast to YouTube. So basically the idea, again, to recap, is this: you connect your podcast feed. So whether you're hosting with Libsyn, Simplecast, Blueberry, whatever podcast host that you're hosting your podcast on, it doesn't matter. We're fully compatible with any podcast host. And the idea is you get either your iTunes, your Apple Podcast link, or your podcast feed that your podcast host gives you. Take that, you go to the connections page and say add new connection and say audio podcast. Give it a name, Hanny's Pod or whatever, and then you just paste that link in here. If it's a valid link, we quickly verify it. If it's all good, then you're done that step. So we add a connection here, and then you do the same thing with YouTube. You click on YouTube and you add a YouTube connection, authenticate yourself. We don't ask for passwords. It pops up the YouTube login. You authenticate, you give it permission to publish on your behalf, and then you'll get something like this where you have a YouTube connection. So connections are a one-time setup. You set them once and you're good to go. And then the next thing is the workflows. So the workflows are the rules. So back to our drawing here, a workflow can be more like if you follow one of these arrows, for example. A workflow can say, take my podcast, make it into a video, a horizontal video, for example, and send it to YouTube. So that would be one workflow. Another example can be take my audio podcast, convert it to a horizontal video, and send it to Facebook. That could be a second workflow. So how do you create workflows? You can make as many as you want. If you're on the content marketer plan, you can create whatever you want, as many number as you want. I think with a trial as well, you can make as many so you can explore all the options. So how do you make a workflow? You say you come into the workflows page, create new workflow. Let's say podcast to YouTube. This can be any name you want. So be as detailed as you like here because it helps you later on once you have several workflows. I'm going to choose. So the first step is ask me what's the input, like what's my starting point. I'm starting with an audio podcast, and then my podcast that I connected earlier will show up here automatically. So I say next. Then step 3 is action. Well, I want to convert this audio into a video. That's my action. And then I can choose full episode or I can choose the snippets. So snippets, again, are just short clips, or full episode is obviously the entire episode. So if you go on to YouTube, I recommend going to full episode. So we can leave that by default, say next. And the last step is where do you want to send, like what's the output? I want to send it to my YouTube account. And then if you have a playlist already, you can add it to an existing playlist or create your own playlist. on YouTube. If you have different shows, different types of videos, I recommend using playlists. If you don't, then you can just upload it with no playlists. It's all good. And then you say create workflow. And then you go into the view episodes, and you should see all your podcast episodes just show up here. And before you publish anything, you want to just go into settings and review all the settings. And I'm going to go into all the details, but the important ones would be you want to add a progress bar or not, the color of the waveform that shows up, and what template style you like. So if you don't, we have 6, or you can upload your own. And we have a link down here to design your own templates. So just if you fire this preview up, it gives you an idea. So we have the title. For every video, we put the title, that unique title for that episode. We put that waveform. It's a real moving waveform that represents the audio. So it's something moving, visual. You can see something moving that corresponds to the audio. And then this square image comes from your podcast feed. Typically, it's either your artwork that when you first create your podcast, or some podcast platforms let you upload a specific image per show. So that let's say you have a guest on your show, you can upload their image onto your podcast platform, and then we pull that in and use it here in the template. Everything else is just your design. Like, we put this, listen on Apple Podcast, this background. If you design your own template, you can put anything you like, put your logo here, put anything you like. So it's fully customizable to meet your needs. And then there's a bunch of settings here about which videos, etc. I don't know. You can play around here if you want the video to be public, private, on YouTube, etc. And then you just hit publish. And here you have a chance to update the description if you want to. We pull in the description from your podcast feed as well. So if you do all your show notes on your podcast feed, like on your podcast host, then you won't have to do anything here. It all pulls it in. It's already preloaded. All you need to do is just hit publish, and you're good to go. And then once you publish, you're happy with everything, then you can go on, turn this magic button on. This is auto. That when I do this, it's going to take every single episode here and add it to the queue, so that every single episode that you've ever published on your podcast can be made into a video and automatically uploaded to YouTube. So that's kind of like the 1-2 minute version of how to make a workflow. We do have a video on the repurpose.io/support, a video specific for how to take a podcast to YouTube. And we go in a little bit more details if anyone's curious.
Yes, and it is magic when you turn that auto on and things just happen. You just know they're going to happen in the background. It's like having a full staff of people working for you doing all these things, and it's running on autopilot. So you can go about doing your business. You can go about creating your podcast episodes, all of your content, and you just know that there's someone in the background supporting you every step of the way. And that is the software that's supporting every move that you make.
Yeah, and it's a good point. So I mentioned auto will take everything in here and publish it, but also tomorrow you release a new episode. If your workflow is in auto, you don't need to log into our software anymore. It just does its magic. You'll find a new episode and then make the video, upload it to YouTube. And you don't even need to enter the software anymore. So it's very flexible. Some people like a little control, so they leave it in manual and they select the ones they want to publish. They tinker, they clean up, they post on certain dates. People have like the flexibility to do manual, but we also have people who just love once they test it, they're happy with the way it looks, just leave it on auto and never have to log into our software again.
Absolutely. So good. This next one is from Steve, and I think it's more of a comment than a question. We use Repurpose only to promote our podcast and spread the word on other venues.
So it was more of a comment, and then I think I might have cut off the second half of the question. So I think the question was, is there anything new with helping podcasters get their word out on different platforms? And I think the short answer is kind of what I demoed earlier, which is the fact that, it's not a new feature. It's been around for several months, maybe even longer. The ability to create more than just this rectangle video. We have these horizontal, vertical videos and square videos as well. And we recently added the progress bar, which I don't know, I think looks cool. Not only it looks cool, but it also gives value to the listener, because when someone's listening to an episode, especially if it's a clip, and they know it's only like that's almost over, they're going to stay tuned. But if it's a full episode and they don't like, I don't have time for this, they don't know how long the clip is going to be, they may not engage in it. So the progress bar gives them a better feel for how long the episode is, and it works great for short clips.
Yeah, and what I love about this too is, again, you're doing the work once, and then you're being able to provide value to your listeners and potential listeners by giving them different styles of in ways to interact with you. So maybe in the beginning, they're listening to those 30-second or 1-minute clips. And maybe if they're listening on Facebook or on YouTube, and then you put that over on Instagram, and you're connecting with different people now. And once they know that your little clips are valuable, providing content, then they are more likely to continue to consume full episodes. Or if you have a 10-minute episode, you can post the whole thing to an IGTV. That's pretty cool. It's kind of like this nice relationship building. You start small, and then you're giving them more ways and reasons to want to connect with you. And then you can kind of grow the relationship from there.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. The whole idea of repurposing content is you put your content where people hang out, so they can get a taste of it. And
Absolutely.
especially with things like Facebook and Instagram, where once they like something, then they're going to be on your feed. You're going to be in their feeds more often. So every time, just the consistency of having your content in front of them, that's the idea. Like, you're not going to get a ton of, podcasters especially love downloads and numbers and stuff. You're not going to get like, the idea is not to get like 1 million downloads on Facebook or 1 million views on Facebook from that one video. That's not, it's not meant to be like, going to go viral. But the fact that because you're publishing audio content to your podcast regularly, you're also appearing in their Facebook feeds regularly, daily or weekly or whatever your frequency is. You're appearing in their Instagram, you're appearing in their LinkedIn. So you're always there. It's like a reminder. Oh, new episode. Oh, so you're just another way of taking content you've already created and putting it in front of people with minimal effort. That's the thing. Minimal, automated, or little to no effort. Little to no extra effort, I should say.
Yeah, and that's
the creation. Yeah, the creation is obviously the biggest effort, but after that, that's the whole idea of repurpose. So I'm going to go back to screen sharing for a quick second. I'm not sure if Jennifer's still there, but the video that we created earlier.
Oh, about the aspect ratios.
Yeah, we made a vertical video. It's ready now, so I just wanted to show that it actually works. Are you able to switch? Yeah, I'll switch it. It's all good. There we go. Okay, so the video was done. So if I click preview, it takes me right to my Dropbox. It opens up the video, and there it is. So we had the blue waveform, we had the title, we had the call to action on the bottom, and if I click play, you can kind of see. You can see how cool the progress bar is. Cool in the sense that it looks good, but B, it's like you really get a sense that this is a clip that I'm gonna listen to it. It's not that long. I'm gonna stick around and see what's going on here, right?
Yeah, you're giving them expectation. What can they expect when they press play? Is it going to be this long thing that they're not going to want to listen to, or is it something quick that they can just take a little bite-sized piece of content? They can think about it, they can apply it, all of the things that your podcast has to offer, just in like little mini bite size. And this is a really great way for just having people to really get to know you and to really understand that you're thinking about where they are in their journey with you.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's again, moving parts, moving waveforms, progress bars. Those things just are engaging because there's movement. Yeah. Obviously, the video is not moving. Like, there's a lot of static components, but the fact that there's some moving components are also just kind of, it captures attention when people are scrolling the feed.
Yeah. And it makes a difference for sure.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Manny has a question about, can Repurpose be used to share live streams while they are happening?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I asked a few people, or I asked everybody who's on a trial or on a user to send the questions over. So these questions are coming in from emails. So I even though the short answer is no, we don't repurpose live content, and that's not our intention. Our focus is repurposing content once you're done live streaming, or once you've published your episode to your podcast, or once you've uploaded a video to Facebook. That's when repurpose kicks in. But I do want to share a tool called Restream.io, which is designed for that. It's not our product. We're not affiliated. Our names sound very similar. People confuse us all the time. Repurpose is our product. We do things after the fact. Restream.io is a tool that lets you simulcast from to multiple platforms to get out there. I've purchased a license. I haven't really played around with it, to be honest with you. I hear a lot of people in the live streaming space using it. So that would be one option, Manny, if you're listening. And it's a great tool. I think also, like, if we're using, like, we're using StreamYard right now as a tool to broadcast, I think StreamYard has the ability, well, I know StreamYard has the ability to integrate with Restream, so we can simulcast to multiple platforms using the tool we're using now. So your live streaming tool may also have an integration with Restream already.
Right.
Awesome.
Michelle says she's signing up today. It looks like a great tool for herself and her clients. Yay,
Awesome.
Michelle.
Welcome, Michelle. I'm glad that you're here. We appreciate you taking the time.
Cool. And Lynn says, thank you for an amazing product. It's a game changer for small businesses. And that is absolutely true. Such a huge game changer.
Awesome. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you for being here.
And Nancy says, Henny, you're incredibly smart. You know that, I hope.
I like to use the word lazy. So I guess lazy might lead to innovation, because I don't like to do things manually. So that's kind of how the WordPress plugins and the Repurpose software were born, out of, honestly, laziness / efficiency. So
No,
I appreciate it, Nancy. Thank you.
Yeah, so it's so cool. Yeah, it allows us to be lazy, and I often use that term as well. And people kind of just laugh, and I think, gosh, all the things we used to have to do manually, and that I hired out to have done manually, and the cost of that versus the software, like, it's such a small investment compared to having to hire staff and oversee staff and train staff and check in on them. So this makes it really, really easy, especially if you're getting started. Maybe you're a solopreneur and there's not really a budget for a staff yet. This is the first step that I recommend to everyone, all my clients too. You can think about what you want your staff to do, but let's take a look at some automation tools like Repurpose to help us get those things done first before you hire out things you don't need to hire out.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good starting point. And even if you have a team, it's going to save your team a ton of time, so they can focus on other things as well, so that they don't have to focus on downloading, uploading, the stuff. Awesome. I see an interesting question from Victor. Victor's awesome. Yes. I appreciate all these questions. So, any future support for captions in other languages? So let me take one step back before I answer that question. So we have an ability, fairly new, that's available when you upload video or go live on Facebook. And the way that works is, Facebook, if you go live or upload a video to your page, they now automatically transcribe it. You click a button on their Facebook page and they can transcribe your video for you, i.e., like, not transcribe, make captions for your videos. You can fix it up yourself. So what we decided to do is we decided to add a cool feature that lets you grab those captions and burn them into the actual video. So what I mean by that is, you can take a Facebook Live, and you can make a workflow that says, take my first Facebook Live that's in regular, horizontal format for my computer or whatnot. I want you to make a vertical video, but I also want you, might be a little pixely because this image is not high res, but I also want you to add the captions. So these are captions that will scroll along. Let me see if I have an example. Well, I know I have an example. I just got to find it. But anyway, so what Victor's asking is, these transcriptions that we grab whatever's on Facebook and we put it on here. He's asking, can it support multiple languages? Now, short answer, I haven't tested it, but in theory, if you add a different language on Facebook, I'd love to test that with you, Victor. If you have a chance, or if you have a video, like, let's talk afterwards. Send me an email or a messenger, and then I'd love to test it out. Like, as long as it's on Facebook in a different language, we should be able to grab it and put that in the video. That's a great question. But I doubt it's going to work off the bat, but we probably with a little bit of work, we should be able to get it working.
That's amazing. So cool.
Yeah.
Andy, I think we've answered all the questions. So let's dive into maybe some features that are coming down the road for Repurpose.
Okay. So we, about a month ago now, maybe 3 weeks ago, we released this video captioning option where we take regular videos, we add the captions like I showed you a few seconds ago. So we're working on a few improvements there to kind of address some bugs and stuff like that. But the biggest thing that we're working on now is actually two things. One annoying thing, which people have been complaining about, is the Dropbox and the Google Drive. When you make a workflow, especially on a Google Drive, you have a lot of folders. It gets annoying and because it spins forever and you can't find your folder. So we're working on a nice way to just make that easier and less of a annoyance. So that's, I know it sounds like a minor bug, but people who use Google Drive, especially now with these videos, this caption video feature, a lot of people are using Google Drive as an output. So we're going to fix that. Hopefully that'll be out in the next couple of weeks. But the biggest thing, which it's not perfect in my mind, and it's not because we can't do it, it's because the platform won't let us, is our integration with LinkedIn. So right now, the only way to get content onto LinkedIn is to send it to Dropbox or Google Drive. You download it, and then you upload it yourself to LinkedIn. So we've applied for permissions to be able to do a direct upload to LinkedIn. So we got the approval. We're working on the integration now, actually, like this week. So I'm hoping by August, September, we should have it. The only limitation is, which is not a bad thing, but it just, a lot of people might have, the feedback we got, a lot of people don't like this, is that you can only go to a LinkedIn page. So we can't upload a video from Repurpose to your LinkedIn profile. If you have a company page, we can upload the video there. So we're working on that, and that's a limitation of LinkedIn. I've already asked. I've like harassed the development support team there. They probably hate me, but I was like, "Come on, guys, we need this. Our users need this." They said it's something we can consider down the road, and I know what that means. It means it's not a priority for them. So all good. So our goal is to publish to a page, LinkedIn page, directly from Repurpose, so that you don't have to download the Dropbox, and then automatically share that post to your personal profile. That's my vision. At least that's a short-term vision, so that you don't have to go in and share that post to your personal profile. We'll do that for you, kind of all in one shot. So at least your audience on your personal profile can see see the new video that you've done. So awesome. That's my goal. And we're hoping to have that by the end of, by September, sometime in September, end of August, early September. And so that's exciting. So yeah, that's probably the biggest thing we've been working on, besides this whole video caption or video resizer, which was a huge effort and a lot of fun to work on. The LinkedIn is very exciting, and that's coming very, very soon.
So exciting. And Lynn says, Repurpose is the biggest social media time saver. I tell my podcast friends about this tool all the time. That is amazing. Yeah, we never have to struggle for content anymore about how, what are we going to talk about and do this. If you're creating all these little snippets, you have full episodes, you have snippets. There's so many ways you can now use this and really create enough content to fill your queue for a month or more.
Yeah, absolutely. The whole idea of Repurpose, and that's really why I got inspired to make it, is because it's hard to be everywhere. It's hard to make a podcast and make video and put it on Instagram and put it on LinkedIn and YouTube. And it just, the thought is exhausting. So the fact that you can automate almost all of it, and then you can, a couple manual steps to get onto Instagram, for example, and LinkedIn. Hopefully one day we can fully automate that when they allow us to do it, but it's just a huge, huge, huge time saver. And it's not even the time, it's the mental energy. Like, you don't need to think about what's going to happen after. You just focus on, this week, I got to create this video or this podcast. And that's your focus. That's your energy. What happens after is taken care of for you.
Yes, this is a great question and very, very timely. Are you going to be speaking anywhere else, Hanny?
Absolutely. I will be, and Young, both of us will be at Podcast Movement in a couple of weeks in Orlando. So we're going to have a booth. I'll be also giving a talk and a full demo. Like it's going to be, I'm going to try to go all out and just literally demo a whole workflow for podcasters and video creators with Repurpose live in front of an audience, which is always scary. But it'll be a ton of fun. So yeah, podcast movement. Lynn, if you're there, we'd love to see you again. We'll have a booth, and my talk is I think on the Thursday, which is I think the 15th, Thursday morning.
Awesome. So good. Hanny, thank you so much for your wealth of knowledge and how you've made podcasting and video creation and just really content creation so much easier for us out in the world, because like you said, there's enough things that are hard. This is one thing where we can kind of set it, we can forget it, and we can let things happen and be able to then really focus on that one thing. Really focus on creating great content, turning it into all sorts of different pieces and parts we can then share on social media and beyond. So thank you so much for your amazing talents and really the love that you have for all of us, knowing that it's such a time-saving tool.
Yeah, thank you. And thanks everyone for the great questions, and the feedback, because that's how we build the software. It's for users, content creators, whether you're a podcaster, you create video, you do both. Just this open communication is really how the product evolves. And I appreciate these opportunities. I appreciate you, Young, for being here, for organizing this, and also for everybody for showing up here. And our goal is to do this once a month.
Yeah.
So
my pleasure. Yeah, and for sure, if you have more questions, drop them below the video and let us know. Maybe we didn't get to it on this video.
Mm-hmm.
We're always looking for content and questions to answer for future videos, because we want to make sure that you as users are getting the most bang for your buck and really using the software to its fullest extent. Because I know I bought software in the past and I thought it was going to be awesome, but then it ended up the software was super complicated. It was really time consuming, and I never used that. So we want to make sure that you're using it to its fullest capacity all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, there's a couple of good questions. I'm going to throw them up here. Lynn made a very good point, and I want to mention this. Temi is a great place to get audio transcription. There's a few other tools out there as well. So with transcriptions, we integrate transcriptions into this video. If you have a video on Facebook, you can have Facebook transcribe it for you, or you can, like Lynn is suggesting, take it to another service. Temi, there's Rev, which is human powered, meaning like there's a team that you pay more, but there's a team that does it for you, so it's 100% accurate.
Mm-hmm.
Wherever way you get your transcriptions, whether you use Facebook's engine or you don't, you can get what's called an SRT file, and then you can upload that to Facebook. So you have the good, clean final copy, and then Repurpose can use that good, clean copy in the video as well. So if you don't like Facebook's transcription, you don't like it, doesn't work well, whatever the reason is, or you want to outsource it to someone who's going to do it using a human team who actually get better results, no worries. It still doesn't affect your workflow. You can still take that SRT file that they give you, upload it to Facebook. You got a good clean system, good clean captions, and then Repurpose can use that version for all the videos it makes.
Absolutely.
Awesome. And then Norris is asking about what are we using now? What are we using now? We're using StreamYard right now to broadcast this right now.
Absolutely.
Great tool. And then, introductory video on the platform. Wrapup. Yeah, we're working on it, Lynn. Thank you. We're working on, like, a lot of that focus now is just getting users to get the most out of the tool. So we're adding, if you go to repurpose.io/support, great place. We're adding more and more videos there as well.
This is a great question.
Yeah, this is a great question. Yes, the short answer is yes. So some podcast hosts have the ability to an option that says, send my podcast to YouTube and make a video out of it. So if you turn, Libsyn, for example, has that feature. So if you use that feature, it will post it from Libsyn, and then Repurpose will post it as well. So you will have it twice. So I would say, pick the one that you're comfortable with, that you like visually. I'm not biased, but I think ours looks better. But LinkedIn, Libsyn's version is a static image. There's no waveforms. It's just very, very, very basic. But all good. No matter what you do, like if you have both options on, if you use Repurpose and Libsyn, then you'll have 2 videos on YouTube, which I don't recommend. YouTube doesn't like duplicate content. You got to be careful with that. So, pick one, pick the other. Just make sure you only have one, or play around with both, but not for the same episode. Like publish one episode here, the next episode there, and see.
And YouTube actually will send you a notification saying, hey, you've already uploaded this video. We're not going to allow you to do the same one. So definitely pick. I think with the Repurpose, you have the advantage of having the waveform going up and down. You can customize some things. So I definitely think look-wise, it's definitely the better of the two.
Yeah, and even, I didn't talk about it here, but you can even, if you have a branded, like a bumper video that you do for all your YouTube videos, you can upload that to Repurpose, and we can add that in the beginning. So you can brand your video in the beginning and brand it at the end with a call to action, and it can be fully automated. So we add the intro and outro to every video we create if you want to. So you upload that to our system once, and we use that for every video. So it's really, really cool.
Awesome. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in live. If you are watching the replay and you have more questions, pop them below. You'll be back again, next month again to answer more questions and to sort of peel back the curtain a little bit for you to show you what is coming up for Repurpose. Thank you, Hanny, for allowing me to pick your brain and ask you all of my questions and answering all the questions of the users. It's very appreciated. Thank you.
My pleasure. And anybody who's going to be at Podcast Movement in 12 days from now, make sure you drop by the booth, say hi to Young and myself, and we'd love to meet you in person. Love to see familiar faces again. And we're also will be, I'll be doing a training session there on the Thursday. So awesome. live training demo, that'll be fun. Awesome. All right, everyone. Sorry?
Thanks, everybody.
All right. Bye, everyone.